Today I am going to be sharing what our schedule, rhythm, routine, whatever you want to call it, is for our homeschool day. So I know in clips I have shared some like these pages that I have in my journal. But I made little pretty pictures and we've had some slight changes, but nothing huge and drastic. So I thought, we've been doing this now for, I guess, since July. Yeah. So I thought, let's share it. So I have cute little pictures that I'll put up here in a second. And that I just created, but I reference my planner a lot. That is what I go to. And it just helps everything stay on track. Before we get started, I will talk just a little bit about like timestamp kind of things. For the most part, we aren't like at a 10 a.m. math has to be done. At 10:30 you have to move on to this. Like, we don't do that. I think the only thing is that we would like to start between 8:30 and 9 every morning. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a good goal for us to work towards. The good news is that my 4th grader is still a very early riser. My 8th grader, not so much. So he tends to start more kind of 9:30. And then the only other kind of time things that we follow are lunchtime. By 11:30, we're done. We're hungry. And so we pause for a lunch break and then usually try to get back to our schoolwork by 1:30. And then we work for a couple more hours and we are done, have the rest of the afternoon, and then into dinner and bedtime. All right, I'm gonna scoot over so I can really fit the pictures up when I'm editing. But let's get started. All right, that'll work. I just have a halo behind me. It is a rainy morning, so I have as many lights on as possible to try to brighten this video up. We'll see. So the first one is for my 4th grader. His schedule really hasn't changed since I created it. The only thing is that we have flip-flopped it. So you can see Build Your Library is down at the bottom. He prefers to do it at the end of the day. When I had first made this schedule, it was flip-flopped, and Build Your Library was one of the first things that we did in the day. But it is the longest curriculum that we have. So he likes to feel like he is moving more in the morning and hitting a lot of different subjects. While Build Your Library, we're still hitting a bunch of subjects, but it's all in one curriculum. And he doesn't mind the kind of more cozier aspect in the afternoon. But let's kind of break this down. So you can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday all pretty much look the same. Every day starts with a warm-up. Right now, we do a picture book. I have a bunch of picture books from the library, and so we just pick one and read it. Right now, we're doing a lot of fall books, which is a lot of fun. And then we also do some kind of reference book, and this kind of started last year. And he loves reference books, and so for us to like go through each page and talk about it, he loves it. So we've done like national parks. We have done little biology lift flap books. Our current one is called Children Just Like Me. I'll try to put a picture. And you meet different children from all over the world. And so that one has been a lot of fun to do. After our warm-up, we do writing. Now, this is where there's a little bit of a schedule change, mostly with my 8th grader. I will talk about it more, but he is going to be joining us for writing. So first thing in the morning, I can snag both of them and we can do writing together. And then on Monday and Tuesday, he does handwriting. Now, Tuesday, he used to do spelling, and he was doing spelling 3 days a week then. I've changed it. I think that I would like him to do a little bit more handwriting, more than just 1 day a week. So he's doing handwriting 2 days a week, which means that Wednesday and Friday, he is doing spelling. He's a really good speller, so I feel confident that just 2 days of formal spelling is fine because he's getting spelling in so many other aspects of our day that it's okay. The next thing in our day changes daily. So on Monday, you can see he does Beowulf grammar. Yeah, we only do it 1 day a week. I think that it's a great curriculum, but I also feel like there's a lot of other things that I want to include in our language arts. So he does Beowulfs on Monday. On Tuesday, he does word roots, so our vocabulary. On Wednesday, he does editor-in-chief, so again, pulling in that kind of grammar, but also how to edit. And then on Fridays, he does word ladders. So a little bit of vocabulary, a little bit of critical thinking. And then each day he does math. Usually this is kind of where our lunch break hits. So a lot of times we can get through the lesson of math and maybe like the game that comes with it. But then after lunch, he will come back and do the practice and review in the workbook. And then definitely after lunch, we come back and do Build Your Library. And that does take us all afternoon. Because Build Your Library, we're doing history, literature, reader, science, art, poetry. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into Build Your Library. So for 4 days a week, that is our schedule. Pretty routine. Not really much changes, maybe like a thing here or there. Thursdays, you can see, is very different. Thursdays, we have to be at the door by like 9 a.m. and we aren't back until almost 2. Yeah, I think almost 2. So we are at co-op for most of the day. And it's so much fun. We all really enjoy it, seeing friends, playing, going to classes. So Build Your Library is really the main thing that we need to consistently be doing. It's heavy, you know, the days are full for Build Your Library. And so to turn it into a true 4-day week program is a lot. So I have changed it to where all the extras can be moved either to Wednesday or Friday. But literature and readers, so the book that we read together and the book that they read on their own, are the only things that they have to come home after co-op. We get snack, we kind of mellow out a little bit, but then they need to pick up those 2 books and read. All right, so this is my 4th graders schedule. Now let's go on to my 8th graders. So you can see it has a pretty similar setup. Some main differences: he doesn't have a warm-up. He just wants to like get right into it. And that's kind of, you know, that little extra fluff. I used to have some like workbooks and things for him to do. He doesn't want any of that. Just get into some schoolwork. His big main difference is that we have moved writing to the very beginning on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so that he can come in and do writing with us and we can knock it out first thing in the morning. And then he gets right into Build Your Library, and this takes obviously the biggest chunk of time. Most days he is able to finish it before lunch. And then after lunch, he comes back and will do math. And so that works out great. He'll go onto the computer, watch the lesson, do the assignment in the workbook. And then his next subject is that flexible one. So on Mondays, he does sentence diagramming. On Tuesdays, he does word roots, so the vocabulary. And then on Wednesday and Friday, he does editor-in-chief. I have him do 2 days of editor-in-chief just because he's not doing word ladders anymore, and the editor-in-chief book is the biggest, so let's get in there and get some work done. And then on Monday and Tuesday, he does handwriting. Yes, he's still doing handwriting. I think it's such a good skill to just keep practicing. So he does some handwriting on those first 2 days. And then, because he is older, on Wednesday and Friday, he does typing. So we use typing.com, so he just goes onto the computer, does like a lesson of it, and then is done. So his looks shorter, but his work is more in depth and he doesn't have that warm-up activity in the morning. So far, these schedules have really worked for us. I have found that, yes, just streamlining it, don't add in extra fluff. Pick curriculum that is meaty enough that it doesn't need extra things in it. That doesn't mean we're getting it done in an hour. It takes us a really big chunk of our day to accomplish all of this. And then I can take their schedules and put it into their notebooks And so every day I go in and write their assignments and page numbers, things like that. And it just works. All right, scooted back into the middle just a little bit. So I hope that this all makes sense. It is still early in the morning. I have not finished my first cup of coffee, so editing might be a little fun. As always, if you like this or anything else that I post here on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more soon.